Hey everybody in the reggae universe, welcome to A Conversation in Dub, hosted by me, Mark Ramondi.
And me, James Pasqua. This podcast is all about exploring the massive world of reggae and dub music, from its roots in Jamaica to its influence on various music genres worldwide.
This podcast also explores the intricacies of dub through insightful conversations, interviews with artists, and in-depth analysis of iconic tracks. We don't just talk about the music, but also the stories behind it, the techniques used in its production, and the social and political context that shaped its development.
Our goal is to promote mindful listening, taking you, the listener, on the journey the artist intended. Through this process, we hope to introduce you to new music or give you a new insight on music you already know and love.
This podcast is brought to you by Rootfire, a platform for reggae music worldwide with a mission to empower artists and nurture the community that supports them. You're here because you love reggae music and want to be a part of that community. We're here to help connect the dots.
If you have any feedback for us, be sure to email us at aconversationindub@gmail.com or message us on Facebook or Instagram at aconversationindub. We love hearing from you. Now,
let's get to the show.
We have Derek Waldmann with us on the podcast. You may know him as Man of the Forests. He plays with everybody. I'm sure you've seen him at a festival, at a show, somewhere. Heard him on a track somewhere. Derek, thanks for coming on. It's great to have you.
Yes, it's an absolute pleasure. Big love to the Rootfire family and to the reggae community in general. What a beautiful community this is to be a part of. So grateful to be here today. A lot of fun things to talk about.
For sure. And you just came out with a new single with Jativa called Ghost Train. Perfect Halloween time release. Loving the song. Loving that there's 7 dub tracks.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, we went all out on this tune because it's so deserving. It's a big tune, and although it sounds like a Halloween tune, it really kind of it expands beyond and above, but it definitely captures that spooky vibe. So yeah,
Totally.
Really looking forward to chatting about that. And I do have Jativa here in person to talk about that as well.
Oh, that's going to be
perfect.
awesome, man.
Before we get into that, you're kind of the reggae violin guy.
Yeah.
There's no other way to put it, right? I mean, it's a pretty niche thing. I'm curious, if you can guide us through how we got there. Reggae violin.
Yeah, man. Well, I started playing violin when I was 6 years old, and actually got into violin because I was watching PBS and John Tesh popped up, and he was promoting a show at Red Rocks. I lived in Denver pretty much my whole life, and so my mom just saw how much I loved it. I picked up a dustpan and a broom, and I was like pretending to play violin with it. And
Starts.
like, if you like it that much, let's go to the show. We'll pick you up a violin and take lessons. So obviously went to Red Rocks, fell in love with the experience and the mystical lighting and just everything about the night. It rained that night.
Wow.
And the violinist just absolutely tore it up. I mean, really just showed me a sound that I wanted to create in the world. And shortly after that, my brothers are from Nebraska, and they grew up listening to 311, which actually is hilarious. A 311 shirt right now. And yeah, like 311 obviously was kind of blending hip hop and reggae and rock all together. And as they're listening to 311, they also had like a bunch of Bob Marley. So when I was a kid, the first thing I ever bought with my own money was a Discman, and I bought 311 from Chaos with Amber on there. And I bought One Love, the best of Bob Marley. And I also bought another album, John Brown's Body, all time. So I bought those 3 albums, and I kind of just, I fell in love with reggae so much, from the start. Bob's voice is iconic. Kevin Kinsella from John Brown's Body, obviously heavily inspired by Bob Marley. And those sounds just captivated me, So ever since I was a kid, I kind of just sat at home and played along to the stereo. I had a boombox in my room. I'd throw on the disc and just kind of freestyle jam, and basically just did that for like years, man. Like
Wow.
years, you know. Um, it wasn't until I met Stick Figure in like 2013 that I kind of found this space in reggae music that was available for violin, had a ethereal, open space that I could
True.
hear violin in, because roots reggae is kind of strict. You know, there's bass and there's keys and sometimes there's horns. Once in a while, you hear a track like "Tide Is High" by the Paragons, where there's like a little screechy violin
Yeah.
or something, you know. But I never really imagined violin and reggae until I really connected with like Stick Figure, and that opened me up to a lot of new bands. Like Hyrie at the time was kind of up and rising, and um, KBong I listened to a lot back in the day, and I just kind of played to those bands for years. And really, the connective tissue was meeting Alific at Closer to the Sun, which is Slightly Stupid's big reggae festival that they throw down in Mexico.
Yeah.
And I saw him standing in the crowd. Alific is a big Root Fire family guy. He released
Definitely.
one of his albums on Root Fire, and yeah, I met him, and I was like, dude, I love playing to your music, man. Like, he was like, what do you play? And I was like, dude, I play violin, and I like just sit at home and jam to your stuff. Like, thank you for what you do. And he was like, dude, I always wanted to make a violin track.
That's sick.
So after Closer to the Sun, we hung out, had many beers together.
Yep.
And
Sounds right.
he sent me over this song called Hotep, and it ended up being my first release. I basically bought a computer, bought all the tools that I needed. I had no idea how to record a song. I had no idea what went into it, and he basically kind of laid down the map for me, what I needed, threw it down on GarageBand on my computer, and sent him the stems, and then he turned that into our first song, Hotep, which is like an 8-minute funky freestyle, like just crazy jam. That was my first song ever.
That is awesome.
That's great, and he's been doing it a long time too. So that was a good person to hook up with. To
Yeah.
figure out how to do it.
Alific is one of my best friends. We actually were roommates for 3.5 years out here in San Diego, and as we were roommates, we recorded "Write It on the Wall," which was his last album release, and a ton of other tunes that I've recorded were in that time period of living out here with Alific. So big love to that guy. He's one of my absolute best friends in life, man.
Yeah. What's funny is my band Stepadelic actually performed with you guys with Alific at the Write It on the Wall album release party.
Yes, that
So
was
yeah, when we were doing this, yeah, I was like, oh, I've shared the stage with him, and I've shared the stage with you at Reggae in the Desert too.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was that album release party was really fun. I'm really glad you guys came out. Obviously, Stepadelic's drummer Kevo has a history with Alific too. He threw down with Alific back in the Vegas days.
Yeah, Kevo's the man.
So yeah, it's really cool. Like all the connective tissue of this scene. Obviously, like my career has a lot of connective tissue to a lot of different people, but that's just like representative of the reggae scene and how tight and how much family this scene is, you know.
Yeah, but
that is definitely what we found. Yeah,
that's incredible. I just want to I want to just go backwards for 2 seconds. Like, you start violin, you're 6, right? You're like, typically violin education, like you're playing like classical songs, like you're not playing like, not even like rock, like you're not even like you're really just getting like a lot of technical things, a lot of classical training, right? And you're just basically using that to bridge to what you're listening to, right?
Yeah, for some reason I always learn by ear. Like I struggled to learn reading music, and my violin teacher thought I was reading music the whole time, and all I was doing was listening to him play the song and eat him listening to it. And as the songs got longer, I'd have to like memorize on the spot every song that he was playing. So
wow,
my ear is very like tuned in to listening. That's like I think that's a big attribute of my playing, is listening to the space and the song and the style and the singer, and finding my own groove in that and that feeling. But yeah, man, I just grew up playing classical and bluegrass basically.
Bluegrass.
And I think it's semi-representative, and sometimes you'll hear a little
Yeah.
bluegrass pick, a little classical lines. I love building like string sections in some of the songs
Yeah.
that I played on, but yeah, I kind of make it my own thing too at the same time, you know?
I love that. And like I always like I get interested because I'm like, how much of your education when you were really learning the craft is kind of like filtered towards what you wanted to play versus how much of that work do you have to bridge and actually do yourself in order to kind of find your place in the genre that you wanted to? Because that's what I find so much with like even like my because I teach piano. And everything I do is centered around bridging what my students know about the instrument to connect to what they want to do versus what they think they need to do next in the progression of musical study. And that's something that's missing so much in like that education world where like students have to cultivate that interest and do it themselves, which is exactly what you basically did from scratch, just listening and finding where you fit into things and making that work, which is crazy. It's mind blowing because it's a lot of work and it's a lot of effort and time and practice.
Yeah, it's kind of just like finding the natural groove, and especially with violin, I think it's funny. Violinists are like very they just play like sheet music, and they're
Mm-hmm.
like, that's all I do
Yep.
is I play sheet music. And I mean, I love playing sheet music. Like I have
Exactly.
when my violin teacher went into a nursing home, I picked up all his sheet music, so my bookshelf is filled with like 150 sheet music books
Yep.
that I love to
Wow.
play. But yeah, there's something beyond, and it's just doing what you love, and that's like the key in life. Like, just finding a way to like take your craft and take your skill and take your gift and turn it into like what you love doing.
Mm.
So I was just so blessed to do that with violin and reggae. Like, what a strange twist of fate. That's like
Yeah.
given me this beautiful career opportunity, you know?
Well, what you're saying, learning like by ear and by feel and stuff, it's 100% fitting to reggae
Mm-hmm.
music because it is all about feel and what did the drummer just do? How do I react to that? The guitar is doing this. How do I react to that? Things like that. Exactly what you're saying. When you're just reading it, there's no life to it. For reggae music, I mean. But when
Yeah.
you're like feeling it and knowing how to react to things,
Yeah. And it's
that's
also
it.
like, I can freestyle like all day long, but also finding a groove and a pattern
Yes.
that you can fit is like different. Cause like jazz is kind of like just play notes and just go
Yep.
off. As long as you're hitting like the right note in the right spot, you can kind of play a bunch of wrong notes. And I can do that when I'm soloing, but when the groove is hitting and the people are singing, there's a space and a time to play. There's a
Yeah.
note, there's a feel to play to. So kind of like that was like the biggest discovery of playing live music was obviously sitting at home. I could just play to a tune. I could play whatever I wanted, but playing in a band setting took discipline. It took another
Mm.
level of listening and another level of understanding like what everybody's doing, what the guitarist is doing, what the bassist is doing, the drummer and the singer, and not overplaying that space. There's like kind of a respect when you're playing reggae music to the sound and to the song and to the art, you
Yeah,
know.
and like I think for me, like I came from a very classical background, like going into reggae music and jamming with people and jamming in a band. Like being a solo instrumentalist and having a very like lead line instrument where like you are the main line of what's happening to then enter the percussive world of reggae, you have to completely reinvent how to use your instrument. And like I don't think that's like it's one of those things that's
Mm.
not really talked about enough. That comes down the line of almost every single instrument that kind of comes into reggae. Like even like from a piano perspective, I had to relearn what playing the keys in a reggae band meant because you're in this very percussive world and there is such a specific slot and opportunity for you to shine versus how are you going to highlight everything that's around you, which is something that you cultivate really well in your music, which is really it's just such a hard thing to do with a lead line instrument like violin.
Yeah, yeah. Violin is supposedly the closest thing to the human voice.
Mm,
So there's also like a big chance to
Right.
clash with what the vocalist is doing if you're overplaying. But there's also an opportunity to sing and harmonize with and uplift that uh that singer, that voice. So yeah, I kind of try to like I don't know, I study a lot of the great violinists. Stefan Grappelli is one of my favorite violinist. He played with a guy named Django Reinhardt, who's gypsy jazz guitarist back in the 1920s and 30s, and just learning like his style and um, other violinists along the way, learning how to pizzicato and pluck, to not just play like swaying violin, to pluck and give like percussive kind of um, rhythms too, like kind of breaks up my style too. So I study the greats all across. Obviously, there's not like a reggae violinist that's different. I could study Jackie Mitu as a keyboardist and be like, that's the greatest.
Exactly.
I played in the Scatolites. He played with Bob Marley.
Those...
But with violin, there's like a couple guys that play on a couple tunes randomly here and there, but there's nobody that was ever like making a style and a craft out of it. So hopefully I can lead that.
Exactly.
Just for keys, or
like kind of like how Augustus Pablo came in playing the melodica.
Yes.
People probably were like, why?
Exactly.
Why are you putting this on there? But it's legendary. I mean, that lives on.
I know. And it's funny because now if anybody picks up the melodica, I'm like, it's just not as good as Augustus, though. But
it's real.
You're doing a great job.
But it's
That's
cool.
So true. That's so true. But
like Mark, we had a band together, and he would pull out the ukulele sometimes, and that's another one of those like, does it fit? Yeah, it does if you do it right.
Yeah.
But you gotta like.
I play with Vana Liya, and she plays ukulele on a lot of the set, and that's a great like rhythm instrument. It's just like buttery smooth.
Exactly.
It's got a really nice rhythm to it, and
it just goes to show you really can make anything you want to fit unless you're willing to know its place enough and study it. Like you have to actually know and do your homework to kind of see where you can fit it in and do it. And I love the fact that you're able to pave the way for people and other instrumentalists who want to come into a genre that they think it's kind of off limits, and it's really not the case. I mean, yeah, it takes a ridiculous amount of groundwork, homework, and practice to it, but there's a way to find the groove with it. I think setting that and being that standard for that, it's going to be such like a cool part that you play in reggae history, which is kind of awesome. I mean, through the years, you're able to build all these different connections and then make these high profile songs and tunes with these people. That's what that's big. That's something that people get to look at and look towards, which is such a cool thing.
Yeah, it's like giving me a lot of space to be like the guy that you call when you need something unique, like, Stick Figure. I did the acoustic Paradise version with him, and I played on the Movements song You Don't Know Me. Like Trevor Hall. I played with Trevor Hall on a tune, Blue Sky Mind. So like there's a lot of opportunity with what I'm doing because nobody else is doing it. So there's like something to say that like if you go out and try to be something extremely unique, that you're going to get a lot of opportunities because you're just being you and, like sticking to the root of what you are and what you love.
Love that, man. And did all these connections stem from Alific? Was it like it started there when you were there, you met him, and then from there you were able to branch out into other scenes? Like, talk about how that web started to expand and when that expansion really started to happen.
Yeah, it's really unique because me and Alific met. We released that tune. We did another tune called Deep, and then I remember on New Year's he called me like 2019 or something, and he was like, dude, I was just listening to Bittersweet Symphony. We should do like a reggae version of it. And I was like, oh yeah, like, dude, my mom always said like I should play that song, So we kind of did like a reggae version with violin singing all the leads. We sent it over to Johnny Cosmic, and we were like, dude, what do you think about this tune? He was like, yo, would you be cool if I sing on it? So that was like my third song, and that's like my biggest song, just hit 2.5 million streams. But it all stemmed out from Alific, because once we made Hotep, he hit me up to play a show, and it was opening for The Movement and KBong Johnny Cosmic, and that was in 2019. And I'd never even stepped on a stage before. I didn't know how to plug my violin into like the speaker system or how it sounds. So I remember coming out to California and playing at Belly Up in San Diego, which is where I live now, which is like one of my favorite venues. and I played one song with him that night. And the next night he was like, dude, just play on the whole set. Let's run it. And my whole family came out to that show, like my
That's
mom,
sick.
my dad, brothers, everybody came out. And from that moment on, I knew I could do live music. And then COVID hit, and I just quit being a manager at Trader Joe's because I wanted to like keep going with live music. I wanted to continue down that path, and I stepped down from being a manager because managing at Trader Joe's was taking up all my time and commitment.
Makes
So
sense.
I stepped away. COVID hit, and me and Alific just kept connecting, kept making music, and these backyard shows popped up. And that was a huge blessing because when the backyard shows popped up, that was a huge connective tissue for up and coming artists. I met Aaron Wolf, I met Vana Liya,
Wow.
I met a ton of people that I played with, Kyle Smith. Like we all kind of started in these backyard shows. And the backyard shows, these guys were like hosting like Slightly Stupid and The Movement and KBong and Dan Kelly from Fortunate Youth. So it was like hanging in a backyard with everybody that I love
The
listening to.
all-stars.
Yeah, and then they're sitting there watching me play, and like a lot of bands are sitting in the green room most of the time at a show. They don't get to hear the opening bands, but in a backyard, everybody's hanging out together, drinking beers, and like in a real community environment. So
What a blessing.
playing the backyard Alific led me to like connecting with Vana Liya and Johnny Cosmic and KBong, and then I just kind of like I kept connecting with KBong over the years and went out to a bunch of his shows, and he invited me up on a tune during COVID times. And then same thing, he was like, dude, why don't you just hop on the whole set?
That's crazy.
And from that moment on, I was like, I played in his band for 3.5 years.
Wow.
And I'm still playing in Vana Liya, still playing Alific. And yeah, man, I've like, I can't even name how many people have stepped on stage with The Movement, the Hip Abduction, Little Stranger, out at Closer to the Sun. It's led to like a ton of connections just because one guy, Alific, really like built a big platform for me, and he really did a great thing for me, man. Like as a violinist and as an artist, I could have played violin and it could be an Alific song, but he was like, yo, you're Man of the Forest, let's make you an artist profile. So he added the primary artist because I played a lot of the leads on that song. And Bittersweet Symphony, he added me as a primary artist, and that gave me a name, that gave me a platform, gave me a Spotify, it gave me a big tree to build off of. And Alific really did me right in a lot of ways. So big up to that guy, man. What a legend.
Gives you credit. How did you land on the name Man of the Forest?
It's actually, my last name means forest man in German. My last name is Waldmann, which means forest man. And I was looking for like an Instagram profile in like 2013 when Instagram was like popping up, and I looked up Man of the Forest. I thought Forest Man was dumb. I was like, that's not very cool. And then I looked up Man of the Forest, and I was like, dang, it's taken by some guy that had no posts, no followers, classic story. But then I was like, Man of the Forests, like, why would I be of just one forest, be of all the forests? And it's cool because I grew up in Denver. My family's big garden center family, big botany family. I grew up gardening my whole life and being in nature. So it just, like, it stays true to my name. I went to CU Boulder and studied botany and environmental studies. So Man of the Forest is like, it's my last name, but it's also like my soul identity,
I'm glad I asked because I thought it might have meant something. I'm really glad I asked.
That's really, really cool, man.
Yeah, it's cool. My pops is always proud of that because obviously I get my name from my dad. So my dad's a funny guy. Actually, both my parents are like just absolute characters, my mom and my dad. So they made me who I am. Thank God.
Yeah. How is that like in terms of all the support you had? Like, I mean, you're working at Trader Joe's, you're a manager there, and you're like, you literally went from 0 to 1,000. Like there was no in between for you. It was like you make these connections, and it's like, get up on stage, you're playing these huge shows. This is a new direction for you. First of all, I want to hear about like the support system you had in terms of doing that and like to make that leap and that transition is big. But also, I want you to take me to that first show and tell me what did that feel like? Like I mean, like you you have not done this before, and here you are. You're on a big stage. You're doing a big thing, figuring out how to plug in your violin. Where were you in that zone in that moment? Like that's huge.
Yeah, the first show I played was at Belly Up. Like I said, I played one song, and I just remember I don't know. It was like a dream state kind of thing, you know. Like
Yeah,
there was like a lot of anxiety or anxiousness, like
I
in
bet.
getting up there and like nailing my parts, and uh, like it was a very trippy experience because I'd never been on stage, and I'm standing in front of like I don't know, Belly Up has 700
It's
people, you know.
crazy.
Yeah.
Um, that was a trip, man. It just went by so fast. I remember the whole night was just a blur, movement, people being on stage and connecting with people is like such an experience at a concert because everybody's just like there's so much motion and movement and energies in one place. So like absorbing it is a really beautiful experience. But for the first time, you're just like, whoa, this is like so
It's like
much.
sensory overload.
This like the second night we played at St. Rock in Hermosa Beach, and that's when I played the full set. And that was really where I felt like I was connecting at the root level to the music and stuff,
Mm.
like just freestyling. Me and Alific are smiling at each other. I'm looking down, and my mom and my dad and my family is just sitting there drinking beers and having the best time and cheering me on. And
That's sick.
uh, what a beautiful, like, real first experience for a show. And I'm opening for KBong, Johnny Cosmic, and the Movement, which is like
Huge.
It's huge.
huge. Like I've been to their concerts 10 years ago, before that moment, and watched them for many years and bought their albums, bought their merch. So yeah, that was like a real expansive moment for me to really feel like I belonged. Because that first night I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. But
Exactly.
the second I played the full set, I was like, oh, this is what I'm doing. This is my mission,
That's sick. And how long was it from that moment where you felt like you connected and this was your world to when you were like, I'm doing this full time, I'm leaving back? And like, what was that transition like for you?
I think I gave it like 3 months. I was a manager at Trader Joe's. I played my first show in September, and then in December, I was like, I told my boss, I was like, "Hey, man, I'm going for the music." And my boss
Wow.
was a great guy at the time. He was like, "Just go for it, man. Like you can always come back to Trader Joe's, and we're gonna be here forever.
Yeah,
Like the music has its moment, so go do it."
that's awesome.
Um, my mom learned violin with me when I was a kid because I was scared of taking lessons. So she picked up a violin and learned alongside me all the way to Hot
Wow.
Cross Bun. And she
Wow,
gave
that's
up
cool.
after that song because she was like, I don't want to do this. This is for you. And my dad took me to lessons every Monday, took me to get burgers or go to the diner after. And he took me every Monday to lessons. And so my family is like incredible support and they're incredibly proud, like my mom is a humongous stick figure fan. Like she's a ridiculous stick figure
That's
fan.
great.
She has the monthly subscription where she gets a t-shirt or a poster. Like
Oh,
she
nice.
goes to the Red Rock show every year. My whole family loves the scene, loves the music. So the fact that my family loves what I do, like if I was playing metal violin, like if I was in a shredding like goth metal band, they'd be like, "Hey, cool, but I don't really know if I'm gonna go to your shows all the time or
Yeah.
like listen to your." But like, like they love Alific, they love everybody that I play with. Um, so it's really cool to have like a genuine support from my
That's
family,
epic.
and obviously
For sure.
also my community, my supporters, my listeners, and the fans. So yeah, me as a musician, I try to connect with fans in the crowd. I don't like to hang out in the green room. I like to get out and talk to people, and I'm usually behind the merch table and like just trying to get to know my people.
Yeah.
Is That's a big thing to me. I don't ever want
Yeah.
to be behind closed doors. And
I
I know
love
there's
seeing
time
that.
to rest and gather yourself, but I'm a people person.
I love that, man.
Yeah, I love seeing that because I love going to shows and seeing the artist behind the merch table, and you can just have a quick, might be a quick hello, whatever. It might be a full conversation, but yeah, there's some shows for sure you'll never see the artist.
I know.
Even at the smaller shows, you just know they're never going to be hanging out there.
Which is cool because it gives them like a mystical, kind of
mystical.
vibe.
But
It's
I'm
like
I'm thinking Elliot Martin, John Brown's body. You'll
Yes.
never see him hanging out.
Elliot or Stevie of Tribal Seeds, like those guys are
Yeah.
great guys, but they're solitude guys, you know, and that's respect.
yeah, it's part of their character almost. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
kind of fits the mold, but like there's a life-changing moment for so many fans when you can connect to the artist that you're listening to. I mean, for the people that come out to these shows, I mean, it's the music that moves them. So to connect with the people behind it, like you just never know like what that's gonna do for that fan. And like I feel like it's such a little thing that an artist can do, but it's such a meaningful thing that I think a lot of artists don't really think about on the back end of what they're doing, you know? So it's so cool to be able to make those connections and set that for people.
Yeah, and you know, like I mean, I've been on tours and stuff where it's long, it's hard, and finding on the fifth night of like the third week,
Yeah.
to talk to somebody. But man, like you know, my drummer of Vana Liya died last year. He passed away suddenly, and we made this album together called Basement Jams, which is like a psychedelic album. He's a big Grateful Dead fan, and we kind of just like drank beers in this basement and recorded this 3-song album. Each song's 15 minutes, and I just love like when a fan comes up and is like, dude, Peanut Butter and Jelly, the Basement Jams album is like the stuff, man. Like that album really takes me somewhere, you know. And like, you know, that album doesn't get like as many plays as Bittersweet Symphony, but like hearing someone connect to the songs like that, you know, especially a memory with a guy like Logan, that's like deep in my heart, and taking me back to that place and knowing that music is making an impact to somebody. That's why I go out and do it, because otherwise I would never know where the music is taking people, you know. So it's really crucial to like get out there and be available at least a little bit, you know. Even at the end of a show, give like a kid a fist bump or something, you know.
I was gonna ask you about the Basement Jams album because I have listened to it. It's really cool, and there's a lot of imperfection in it, which makes it cool. It makes it like super real. And I was curious if you went into that knowing that you were gonna record it and release it, or was it just like we're just gonna jam in the basement, and I don't know, it's just gonna be fun.
Yeah, it was more like we're in the middle of a Vana Liya tour, and we had 2 days off in Pittsburgh, so we just set up the equipment. And I remember I was tired. I took a nap, and Logan woke up. He was like, "Dude, get up. We're playing, man." I was like, all right, man. Let me sleep for like an hour more. And he was like, no, get up right now, dude. And I got downstairs. Everybody had all their gear set up, and there was like Dan, my guitarist, bought beers. So I was like, crack a beer. We had no intentions of really like releasing songs. Those songs just there's 3 songs, Peanut Butter and Jelly, and they just came to us in the moment. There was no talk before of like, hey, let's play A to D or whatever. Like we just started playing. You know, like Dan started Peanut, and Kenny the bassist started Butter, which is like just like a fat bass line at the beginning. And then I started Jelly, the last tune. So it's cool because like everybody kind of like led a tune. But there was 0 words spoken in the song. We like ended naturally. In the middle of Butter, we like stopped the song because there's this riff that I play, and Logan's like, dude, play on that riff. And then he like counts the song down. So like in the middle of the song, we like literally like break the song down and start again. And you can hear Logan talking at the beginning and ending of songs, which is also really special. That was he was mixing that tune when he passed, and that album goes out to him because once we listened to it, we knew we had something special. So we went into mixing and mastering, and he mixed everything. He mastered it all himself, and he wanted the songs like we obviously were talking about like the Denver Nuggets were playing or whatever. Like there was all these conversations we had, and he wanted like all this gibberish, and I was like, dude, you gotta cut to the song, man. Like we gotta like if someone turns on to this song and it's us talking about the Denver Nuggets, they're gonna be like, what the hell is this, you know? So like I was like adamant that we had to like trim the fat of the songs, but he was like, "Well, dude, I want to have like some psychedelic like conversation in there." So at the end of Jelly, there's like us talking about the Nuggets game and like how long we can play and stuff. So
Right, right.
he added like the little mystical conversation bits, um but yeah, what an album, you know. It's like it's a true journey in freedom and expression in music. And I think a lot of artists in today's day and age are relying on, you know, click tracks or like playing to a click and using auto tune. And
Yeah.
there's all this like seeking perfectionism, you know, but music is like imperfectly perfect. It's like nature.
Mhm.
Nature is like the most perfect thing, but it's like a mess. You know what
That's
I mean?
right.
So
Totally.
it's almost like taking away from music when you make it too clean and perfect. And obviously, like, you know, you want to end up on the radio and stuff, but like we're just trying to make art
That's
and make
right.
people happy. And there is no there is no like track for that. Just like play what feels good, you know. And that album
Yeah,
was like just such a fun journey.
that's definitely that. Yeah. Hey, when you play to a hard click all the time, it just sounds pretty robotic after a while.
Mm.
But when you like loosen it up a little bit, you add this life to the song, which you cannot add later on. You have to capture that in the
That's
moment.
true.
Dude, the Beatles and Led Zeppelin didn't play to a click to their songs, you know what I mean? But like when you listen to those songs, you're like, dude, Stairway to Heaven is just a feeling, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
a
Exactly.
it's an all-time. Nobody notices if it's like flexing from 118 to 122 BPM, you know?
No,
You'll
it's
never
a
know.
heartbeat of music, right? And it's like when you connect to the pulse and the heartbeat with the people that are around you, and that syncs up, then the journey that you're on as a musician is the same journey you bring an audience on, the member on. That what you feel in the room is what people end up feeling when they listen to it, and that connectivity and that rawness is kind of what makes it so personal and so organic. You know, it's just
Right.
life. That's what it is. It's like the heartbeat. But that is such a cool project to
The
have
heart
done.
the heart flexes in beats, you know, it's never strictly the exact same beat.
Exactly.
So may we breathe like the heart beats.
Amen,
Mm.
man. That's it. That's what it always comes down to when it comes to jamming and feeling and connecting to something, connecting to music. You know, like even when I'm working with my students, we don't even work with click. Like even with, well, I don't care what classical, I don't care what song we're learning. It's like, do you feel the pulse on what's happening inside the song? If you don't, there's an internal pulse that we have to get into and tap into. That's a real hard thing to kind of like do because you have to listen. You have to listen more. You have to listen and dial into everything, which is such a cool zone when it clicks, you know?
Yeah, you have to tune in to like to vibe out, you know what I
That's
mean?
so
Like,
real.
Mhm.
It's so real. But that's
but yeah, man, music is a feeling, so let it feel. And we can't get lost in perfection because nothing is perfect in this world, you know?
I
it's so
like it.
grateful for a project like that. And so sorry for your loss and everything and all the twists and turns that go
Yeah,
through
Yeah.
it, man.
it just really it really made me value my time here. And you know, a loss can be a gain in a way sometimes when you just it wakes you up to like how special life is, that we're all living, that we're all together, and that we have this one moment in time to go out. And you know, I've been a part of, I don't even know, like 68 tracks on Spotify that are released, and I have like probably 10 or 15 more that are like ready to come out at some point whenever the artist is ready to release it. But
That's great.
that's kind of been my motto of music, is to just like collaborate in every direction that people want me. I'll always, you know, give my gift and give my blessing to a song and add it to the playlist, whether it's, you know, stick figure or a local band. Like, you know, I want to reach everywhere I can with music. So you gotta go low and high. And you never know, like, you know, like a big tune could come from just like a moment strumming a guitar in a forest, you know.
For
It's real.
real. And to think you could be a manager at Trader Joe's right now.
I know. Or, did you guys find everything all right today?
Yeah.
Oh wow, you fit right back into that real quick. That was
So I'd love to talk about the new song Ghost Train.
Yeah.
Just came out October 22nd. That's a cool
It's an
song,
awesome
and
track.
the lineup on that track is pretty
Yeah.
wild.
Yes. Yeah, well,
How did that all come about?
it all started because, well, I have Jativa here, which I'd love to bring in the conversation if that's cool.
Yes, please.
Yes, let's do it.
Hi.
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 Guys.
You're
Welcome.
Mia.
Thank you.
I'm Mark. It's James. Nice to meet you, Mia.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, well, I've been playing with Jativa. When I saw Jativa for the first time, I was literally blown away because the energy and charisma that this band has and the talent and the originality is like all there. Everything that you want in reggae music is Jativa. And I remember I bought a record and I was like, one day, like, if I buy this record from you full price, like, you got to let me play with you sometime. And she was like, yeah. She didn't even know who I was. Awesome. But it turned out the guitarist for some shows. So I jumped in and started, playing rhythm guitar. And we went on this little road trip to Santa Cruz. And I was just sitting on the couch under the redwoods. And I was just trying to think of like Jativa chords. And Jativa's got this like deep rootsy, like wickedness to it. And yeah,
spooky vibes over here.
Yep, I love that.
So I played those chords and everybody just like perked up and they were like, yo, what are those chords? And I was like, I don't know. They're like, it's just like a Jativa chord progression. And I remember her dad grabbed a ukulele and was like ripping this like line that ended up being like the synth line in the tune.
Love
and
that.
Me grabbed her writing book and she sat next to me as I was playing the chords and just was like ferociously like writing these lyrics, and I'd spit out like a phrase here and there, but she wrote like just all these like amazing words to the vibe of the song,
Right.
Love that.
It was a collaboration for sure. And then we took it to the next level, even with like producing it all. He likes things done very, what's the word I'm looking for?
He does things in a high class way. He has high expectations.
Yeah. So he was like, we're gonna get Fully and we're gonna get Stevie and we're gonna get Tony and we're gonna have all Soul Syndicate play on this basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then
I was shocked to see that. Yeah.
And then we're gonna get Roger, and then we're gonna whoever, it was. Then we're gonna get everybody together at 17th Street with Lou, and Jimmy Ovea is gonna do the cover, and it just do really a whole artistic team and like a big creative for this vision of a song. But I don't think it's just a song. One thing is Halloween comes around every year, so that's nice. We can always like keep campaigning it every year. It's such a great tune. We have all the dubs. We have, all these amazing artists on this. But it's more than that. The song is literally about all walks of life coming together for our last ride of fun. It's like organized chaos because where you're going, but it's our last time and we're gonna have the most fun. So
such a cool.
This girl knows to have fun too. Like if you ever watch her on stage, she's like an absolute energy that you'll rarely see in music.
We wanted to give that performance and that vibe and that sense of it's time to board to go and like you're gonna get on or you're gonna get off. And, hopefully everybody gets on with us.
Well, it's so cool.
That's really cool. I'd love to see the live show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Yes.
And like
it was like, Fully Fullwood and Tony Chin of Soul Syndicate. They played with like Peter Tosh and Bob Marley.
Yeah.
And
everybody.
A lot of reggae greats. Roger Rivas on organ is like one of the greatest organists to ever touch the keys in reggae music.
Absolutely.
And me adding a little violin and Mia searing vocals and ripping horn lines that she wrote the horn lines, by the way.
Sick.
She like writes the horn lines to the tunes. So it was just like a really beautiful thing to capture the lightning bolt of a song, because how when musicians like we have a song and then it sits in a hard drive for 5 years and it never comes out, or like there's this like just like terrible pace that we're on. We're like, when is this song, like, when are we going to finish this tune? But everybody was so motivated, and Jativa is a big motivated project. Like, they get things done, and they print it on a 45 or a record, and they get it out. So there was like this really big push to like get this song done while the iron was hot.
During the right.
Yeah. So
That's like how you get the essence of it at its highest.
So what was?
So it was really.
Sorry, go ahead, bro.
I was just gonna say. So it was really fast moving. It sounds like when you had all these players come in, did you have most of the song like ready to show them, or was it kind of like a collaboration from there too?
Yeah, we had most of the song. I would. We just everybody came into the studio. They came up with outro really quick. They didn't even come up with an outro. It perfectly ended, actually.
Yeah.
So
Fully Forward was like, yo, we need an intro, and he like played these notes, and everybody was like, that's sick, but what is the notes? You know what I mean? And he was like, I don't know. And like there's like this moment of like confusion of like how we start the song, but like basically the rhythm section, like guitar, bass, rhythm, keys, and drums, and Mia's vocal take, it was supposed to be kind of just like a scratch vocal take, but it ended up being like the take, like the whole
wow.
vocal take that you hear is a one take thing.
Wow.
It's not chopped up. It's like all whatever was in the feeling of the moment. And she had lyrics written down, but she was like, Mia's great at freestyling and getting like the feeling of the moment into the lyrics and the song. So there was like, then we did a little bit of overdubbing with like the violin we added at like last, and the horns we added in later. But most of that like rhythm and core of the song was done on a one take moment.
See, that's incredible too, because the vocals in the track, I mean, they're so cool. Like they're all like, I mean, like there's so much emotion behind it. It's not just message, it's emotion. And there's something that's so raw and gritty about it that just like you can't help it. It just like moves the piece, and it really just kind of takes over the whole emotion of everything. So it's so cool. It's and the way that everything just kind of fits in your vocal register, just how you make it all just sound so natural, is a really cool element of the whole sound as well. So it's an awesome track, and I'm a huge fan of the chord progression. I love it. I love that you leaned into the chromatics. I thought it was really, really cool. It was a really, really fun. I was literally like jamming to it before we jumped on tonight. And I was just like, oh man, this is like an addicting chord progression. It is so much fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
It's really weird because like I don't know, it's just like it's just a chord progression. It's not like, it doesn't have any crazy, like, it's not a diminished chord or something, it's two minor chords and two major chords. But I remember when I brought in the studio, the guys were like, this is a great chord progression, like Fully Forward is telling me that, and I was like, oh really? He's like, I never played these chords before, and I was like, wow, that's kind of
no, I mean
that's some praise.
It was right. I mean, you took it totally out of the key for the D major chord and the D flat major chord. That like is different. It's definitely something that's completely unconventional, but it goes so well. It goes so, and I love the fact that like when you do like, I don't want to say strange because it's not strange. It sounds really good. But one of my favorite things about just a lot of reggae tunes is you rock a progression, you ride it for the entire track, and you just kind of let it simmer. When you have that chromaticism in a track and you massage it to the listener, like you just give it over and over again and you let it develop, there's something that becomes addicting to it, because it's a different kind of sound to the ear, but you give it enough time to marinate so that people can kind of like sink into it. Next thing you know, you're humming it all day long. Right. And that's exactly what you kind of did. You get this funky progression, but you did it. You just massaged it in with everything else to make it like kind of just stick. And it stuck with listeners. Like, I mean, I could not, this is like one of those earworms where like I'm literally humming that progression, and I'm humming this like for the rest of the day, which makes it so awesome, man. So definitely like big ups on the creative.
Fully Forward's bass line too. Like,
yep.
I mean, we had the chord progression down, and obviously the rhythm is just following the chord progression. The keys are playing that, but Foley really like sat there, and I remember hearing him talk about how like, playing music is like doing an honor to the song, kind of like what I talked about earlier with playing violin. And like that bass line really like makes the tune extra special too. So big up to the legends that sat in, and that was a great example of like where music is getting back to where getting back to a feeling, like sitting in a studio with cats and like doing a song in a one take fashion instead of like chopping up. You could sit there and like just chop the chords 4 times and then copy and paste it till the song. But like, no, it's like people playing together until the song ended all the way through.
It truly curates the vibe of the song when you're able to do things like that.
Yep.
More raw, like you were saying.
Well, there's like an organic
Yeah.
communication that's happening, right? Where like you're listening and knowing not to step on each other. Exactly. And like it's that natural flow of things where like everything has a pocket and naturally fits because everyone's kind of breathing into exactly what's happening in that moment. It's that chemistry, right? And like when you're in a room with like artists like yourself and then like legitimate legends, like that chemistry must feel electric. Like I want to know, like, what was it like when you guys all connected for like the first time in a room and it's like, let's lay this down. Like how did that feel?
Literally electric. Like I got shocks from the microphone type of thing. Like that. It's real, and you can feel the goosebumps and you can feel the energy between everybody. And when you're locked into that flow state of everybody's master, everybody has a mastery and they're all bringing that into this state of creativity all in just one take of moment of 5 minutes, and it's like an addiction. It's like that's the highest high you'll ever get, and then it's over and then you're like,
now what?
Wow. It's so hard to explain to non-musicians what it's like to connect in that way and like make a song. It's like really intimate, and like you said, there's a lot of connection there, and it's just like you get a high from it, like you said.
Musicians were getting back in the studio and doing that, like a lot of the tunes that you hear, like the soul music days and Bob Marley and the Wailers, when they had Peter Tosh and Bunny, they were singing 3-part harmonies on one microphone and they were singing the whole way through. You know what I mean? Like they're looking at each other in the eyes and they're smelling each other's breath and like they're rubbing each other's shoulders and stuff. And like that cultivates a feeling. And the greater feeling that you can cultivate in music, you can pass it on to the listener. And I think that's why this song has that like real raw feeling. And obviously like also getting all the legends to dub on it. There's 7 dubs. We had Scientist, which is like one of the greatest dub artists of all time, studied under King Tubby. And my homie Nate from Boostive, a.k.a. Noisemaker, did one of my favorite versions. He really like just studied he did it at like 3 a.m. because I was like, dude, we need this dub done tonight. Can you do it? And he was like, yeah, well, I gotta teach in the morning, but like, can I like do it tomorrow? I was like, no, dude, you gotta do it now. And he stayed up like at the witching hour, which like the tune is ghostly. It's like a creepy tune. So the fact he did it at night, I don't know, it had like this energy to it. Bryce Zion, our other great friend here in San Diego, a great legendary dub artist, did a great version. We had Ian Young do a dub version. Ian Young is a really talented producer and performer. And then
Productions.
Yes.
Sonia Studios.
Rough Sounds is like one of the versions. 17th Street Recording, which is a studio that we did it at, did a version. And then Roger Rivas, the keyboardist, did a dub version. So to have like an album, dub is cool. I mean, there's a conversation in dub, right? But I don't think a lot of people like really understand what dub is, but it's, selecting moments and time for the drums to come out, for the vocals to come in and out, for the guitar to come in and out, to phase or add a delay or something like that. And
it creates a different energy in their take of the song, too. And it's like they're all pretty, I think they're all pretty unique as well in their own way. I know it's the same song over and over and over, but the more that you listen and the more that you get into there, you get everybody's little mystical take of everything that they hear and how they perceive the song, well,
Mm.
and how they perceive it as an artist. So it's
Right. I always said dub is like the engineer taking control as the artist and reinterpreting the song and rearranging it in a way that an artist would as like the lead. So that's how I always kind of explain what dub is to people who may not be as familiar.
Yeah, and it's like they get to like be the solo artist for a second.
Yep.
They get to like
Right.
control the the direction of the ship. Every version is super just nasty. Like
Yeah.
I love listening to the dubs because you just get to like hear each artist in the moment have a perspective that's unique.
And that's really what it is. It's that perspective. You get like so many different
Mm.
perspectives of the track. You get to hear things that you might not have heard when you just hear the original track, because that's the again, with reggae music, there's so many layers that come together to make it come to life. You might not hear all those layers all the time because they fit so well together. So when you have certain things stripped away, it's like every time you get to uncover something different about the track, and it makes you listen to the original track differently.
Yes, you hear so many little intricacies, like Steve Tiger Tone that's doing the picking guitar that's following the bass line. Like in the track, it like is so married to the bass line that you don't really hear it. But when the dub comes out, Stevie plays with Barrington Levy, by the way. Like, I mean, legendary guitarist,
Yeah.
but like he, you get to like hear that sticky guitar pick and isolation, or like a weird violin thing that I like did,
Yeah.
like or Mia's vocals, like
Mm.
you get to hear like really like independent pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's
Yeah, it's funny. I always ask people that come on here if they're gonna have any dub versions coming up, and I absolutely don't have to ask you. You over delivered.
We overachieved.
I
We
love it.
overachieved.
I love it.
Yeah, we have a student coming out with Nate Noisemaker. He plays keys and saxophone and boostive, but I have like a violin dub. We sat at the Boostive House here in San Diego, and Boostive is one of my favorite bands, man. Like,
Yeah, they're sick.
the world sound, deep reggae, heavy bass line, Davina's soaring female-led vocals, spiritual music, and they have Steel Pulse's horn section, basically. Like that's where Steel Pulse got their horn section from. So I have a tune coming out with Nate called Dub in the Forest.
That's
And it's just a one take. He led all the rhythm, staged, the bass player came and laid drums and bass, and then I just did like a one take violin, like a one take violin thing, and Nate selected while I was playing. So that's gonna be a really
Nice.
fun. Yeah, it's like a live dub. So that's coming out next month.
Oh, awesome. We'll be on the lookout for that.
Absolutely.
I have seen videos that you've been posting.
Yeah,
or
we
or
did.
he's been posting. I've seen them.
Right, we did a
I'm
series
pumped.
on Instagram, and that's been fun. Like on Instagram, like there's a lot of opportunity to like you get to like release whatever you want whenever you want. So like I've been doing like a lot of harmony videos where I like sing like an old tune and sing the harmonies all stacked on each other like an old Bob tune. And um Mia and Jativa laid down like an incredible visual representation of Ghost Train. We had Hoser from the Movement and Hyrie and Tribal Seeds. He's worked with a bunch of great bands, but he's like an amazing videographer and editor, and he did all the Instagram video work for Ghost Train. We went out to
Nice.
Jacumba, which is this like desert town an hour out of San Diego, and they have this abandoned train on these tracks with like all
Whoa.
this crazy graffiti. So it was like the perfect setting for the song, and
Sick.
we drove out there, like did like a film session, and Mia crushed the energy of the song. Like when you watch those visuals on Instagram, they're like it's a movie.
It was spooky
Yeah.
out there.
I
I
bet.
think the vibe was caught. The vibe was caught for sure.
That's so sick.
The desert is a wild place.
Yeah.
It was very interesting, to say the least. It's nice to be able to, like, get everything out a visual way too. It's not just about the song
Mm.
anymore.
Yeah,
I like a big fan of performing, and
Yeah.
really feel with your audience and connecting to your crowd through that emotion. And we were able to capture it as as most as we could, as most as possible.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Being some musicians that came together and wrote a song, and now we're like basically making this whole crazy movie music video for it. It's like it's a lot moving all at once, but it's like we're on board. We're on board of the ghost train. So
it's sick. And this really came together to just be such a really cool collection of art. Like you said, like there's so much
Mm.
visual, there's so much that goes into this other than just the tracks, other than just the dubs, to make this be like such a substantial, cool piece of like your musical chapters as artists to be able to put this
Yeah.
together. Like what an awesome stamp to be like, okay, here we are, this is what we're doing. And it opens the door for so many cool things that you can go to and expand with from it.
Yeah, and they like even there's like 45s printed like ready to buy right now of the single, and then on the B side is an unreleased like Jativa banger. So there's like
That's
if
Oh,
you want to
nice.
hear the 45, it's got a brand new tune on it. Like I love that the music industry is getting back to
yep.
vinyl and like analog and real things, because as AI and
Mm.
computers are taking over the world, there's going to be a huge need to come back to reality. So we got to like, as artists, you can really choose to like cave into the convenience of AI and computers and how easy it is to like auto tune your vocals. Or do you want to sing the song right?
Mm.
Like, do you like, do you want to just lazily put it out on Spotify, or do you want to like make art and press it? And it's hard because artists don't make a lot of money. So like,
Mhm.
that's like the big thing, a lot of people don't realize is like the hard fight of being a musician is like we're just doing it for the love, you know what I mean? Until you get to the top 1% of being an artist, like that's where you make a career out of it. But we're like doing it out of passion. And
and
Right.
for community as well.
Mm.
It's like you could go and make an AI uh, album cover, but no, we want to go to our favorite live artist, Jimmy, and have him do live art, like while we're there and da 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 da. And we have Hoser and he's coming in, and we could easily, be doing AI videos and all these things, but it's like we do have a collective of artists on our, like I said, on our creative team. So it's like we all are utilizing each other to our fullest potential, and that's what creates such an amazing community of people, because we're all uplifting each other in the best ways and being able to just fully appreciate each other's creativity at its most
that's the key
highest.
too, is like the death of art is only if the artists choose to kill it off. Like if
That's right.
we as musicians are going to use AI because it's cheap and easy, we are taking our homies out of the process.
Right.
And like,
Mhm.
you know, like we got to choose to stand up to this, like we got to choose to make what's real. And um like I said, it's going to come back. Just like records came back. Like,
Mm.
there's going to be a want for real music and real things. So let us be the ones that lead the way.
There's societal patterns and waves, and like whether everyone's in for a good rude awakening, because we're coming back with a bang. We're ready. I feel like us musicians, and not just musicians, but us creatives. There's a good
Yeah.
collective of minds out there right now who are all on board.
Absolutely.
I
The
think
the art will not die.
similar
No.
values.
And like what a hell of a way to make a stamp on that with what you guys did with this track. Like I
Yeah.
love that essence of community because it all just speaks down to exactly what is so special about the genre of reggae that we all are here to talk about and love. I mean, like that is at the core of what it always has been. It's just amazing musicians that uplift each other and share tracks with each other and make music with each other and expand the world and expand the talent and then give their blessings of their tracks and their gifts onto different songs and things. And to be able to just extend that community and make it be such at the heart and the core of what it's meant to be is such an awesome thing as like a reggae fan to listen to and hear and be able to be talk to you guys about today on this podcast. It's such a cool thing to be a part of. So really big ups for it, man. It's such a cool release. So psyched to be able to hear it and have it in this world.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've been up to a lot. Like Jativa is 2 years old almost.
Yeah,
almost 2 years old as a band. And Mama Troy went on a podcast, which is Bradley's wife of Sublime, and she basically said like Jativa is the closest thing energetically and musically to Sublime since Sublime, like besides Long Beach Dub All Stars, and that's like that's a big thing, you know.
That's huge.
People are seeing not only what she's doing, but what I'm doing and what we're all doing. You know, like it's great to know that if you stay original and just do what you love, that it's gonna spread.
Yep.
And I've always been saying like it's a gift to uplift, and I always felt like what I do with violin is like it's like a lifting vibe to songs. You know what I mean? It's like an ethereal kind of godly sound that is like an ancient loving sound, you know. So like I don't know, it's truly a gift to uplift because the world needs it more than ever, you know.
Not only
sure does.
violin though, we need more people in our scene like Derek, you know. People, we have a lot of fakeness going on and a lot of people who are just in it for money and fame and things like that, and not people who have a true message or authenticity, you know, that they want to bring to the world. And it's those people who, you know, when you do give that out, you receive it. So I'm happy to be able to, that was my first collaboration with anybody, this song, you know. So I'm so stoked to be able to collaborate with somebody as amazing as Derek, Man of the Forests, you know, to be able to fully have that gift of community and love throughout creating music, because not everybody does it with passion and love like he does.
Couldn't agree more. Should we expect more co-produced collaborations between you two?
I would say
yeah, I would assume so. Yeah,
Okay.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, it's cool. Like when you work with an artist that listens, you know. Like I sat there and played chord progressions to a million different people, and there's like a very specific amount of artists like Alific and Jativa and Kevin Kinsella of John Brown's Body. Those are the people that listen to like what I have to offer, and they're like, "Yo, that's dope. Let's write something. Let's create something from that." You know, a lot of people are lost in their own little world, which is fine because the world is a busy place. But to step outside of yourself and just like absorb each other's creative gifts is a real blessing. To find people like Mia, Jativa, and Alific, and Kevin Kinsella, and you know, like those guys are obviously, you guys know Kevin of John Brown's Body is like, dude, he's a hero of mine. You know, like to call him one of my best friends. I'm going out to Ithaca next week to record an album with him.
That's awesome.
And
awesome.
And we've collaborated a lot. I got to play on his live set. I got to play with John Brown's Body. And that was one of the bands when I was 6 years old that I picked up and listened to. And I didn't sing my whole life. Mia's been singing her whole life. She's a God-given singer, you know, like I sang harmonies like biking to work and like listening to JBB, and I would sing the Elliot Martin harmonies. Like I would sing those harmonies all the time. And that's how I studied and learned harmonies, was biking and listening to JBB and Bob Marley, you know, and being able to sit there and like look over and I'm standing next to Kevin Kinsella.
Yeah.
And that's like a trip to me, you know, like that guy is an icon to me, and another man that's written so many insane quality songs, not only with JBB, but with 10 Foot Ganja Plant and that whole 8-album journey that he went on with that band, and now he's back with JBB and the revival of John Brown's Body, and seeing them, they need to have a seat at the American reggae table, because as the scene, like these festivals are like, I love festivals, but man, like, why is John Brown's Body not headlining a festival? And why is Chronix and Coffee and Protege not having more representation in the American reggae scene?
Yep.
Because a lot of the record labels control these festivals. And, it kind of turns into like a musical monotony. It's like, it's just kind of like the same thing, like, so
It's just
let us
oversaturation
pray
of the same stuff.
yeah, man. Like we JVB doesn't play the backing track. There's 8 of the best players playing their instruments and singing, and they have a Hammond B3 organ with a Leslie spinning. Like
Yeah.
that's still music, and Cali Roots and Cali Vibes need to see that, and the people of those people need to hear it.
I agree. I mean, for us, JBB,
Yeah, for sure.
they're huge heroes of ours ever since we were young too. Like growing through high school, growing up listening to JBB, and I mean, for us, it's one of the biggest joys of even like being here doing the podcast and being able to meet these people who we just grew up as our heroes that we always listen to is such an amazing thing to be able to do. And there's something special about these bands and these people. There's a reason, and so many people come on this podcast and talk about how amazing JVB is. It's one of our big missions is to get bands like this, artists like you guys, like out there to other places and everywhere, so that people could start understanding that like there's such a big world of reggae that you really want to be able to kind of uncover and get into, because it's amazing stuff.
We had I played a show with Kevin out in Florida. We played Collect the Trophy, which is like one of my favorite tunes. But after the show, we were talking with a bunch of homies from like Soja and Dan Kelly, and someone commented that John Brown's Body is your favorite reggae artist's favorite reggae artist. If that, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that makes sense.
Who does Stick Figure love? Like, a shit ton, like JVB.
Yep.
Who does the movement of JVB? Like an iconic band of the time,
Big
like
time.
And they're celebrating their 30th year anniversary this year, so big up to John Brown's Body and Kevin. Big respect to like them getting out there, and they have a bunch of brand new tunes too. Like they've been doing dub versions. They have Hard Fight. They have a dub version. They did 40,000 Years from Yesterday dub version. They re-released Little Bit of Some dub, which was on the All Time album, but it actually to have like a vocal take, so they went and cut the vocal take, and instead of having the dub version, they released the vocal take. But then they had Sword of Sorrow dub, like so, and they had like Prince Fatty, they had
Victor
Rice, and man, somebody else, like who was the other legend that like they had great dubs on those songs.
Yeah, they do it right.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
they absolutely do. But no.
Well, guys, I think we've taken so much of your time. I want to thank you for coming on and spreading the word about what you guys are doing. And I really hope that there's more stuff, because Ghost Train was such a cool song. Having 7 dubs is such a unique thing. And I want to see more of that for sure. I want to see Jativa live in person, maybe on the road. Who knows? Yeah. Come to Vegas.
We're actually playing a huge show here in San Diego on Halloween night. It's my brand new band, Eternal Voyagers, which is like full Rocksteady Studio One revival.
Right.
Jativa, and then Alific. So it's like a big show. Yeah, it's a stacked show. And we're trying to put that on locally. Like, Miles from Slightly Stupid just bought into the Harp down here in San Diego. So we're playing at the Harp. We're out here in San Diego, which is like an amazing center. Yeah, what a center for reggae music. So we're out here, please just keep listening and supporting, because anytime that anybody listens to our music, that's the greatest gift, and loves it and connects to it.
Yeah, and like,
so let us.
And guys, thank you, because like you guys, you're producing this amazing sound, but what you can hear in Ghost Train is like that energy and that emotion. And taking the time to come on here and talk about that and the story that goes behind it is just feeding into the passion. And I think it totally changes for listeners too, to have that perspective of everything that goes into something that you can already identify as special and has so much raw feeling and emotion to it. And you guys just add so much to that by being able to come here and share all this stuff about it. So thank you guys so much for your time tonight. This really means a lot to us and definitely to all of our listeners. And we really look forward to what's up and what's coming next. And look forward to seeing you guys. I definitely want to come out and see you guys live at some point. It'd be wonderful.
Yeah, man. Well, we'll be across the nation too. You know, like Man of the Forest as a violinist has toured the hell out of this country,
Hell
like
yes.
with Vana
Nice.
KBong and Alific and everybody that I've played with in the past and in the future with Jativa. I've driven so many thousands of miles. It's ridiculous. Like as many songs as I've played on is as many miles as I've driven. So
Wow.
I guarantee
Oof.
I'll continue on the journey. I've been to 47 states and played in every one of them. And,
Wow.
and I plan on just keeping on going down the train, you know, like, and spreading music to the people. And, Root Fire, big up to Root Fire. Like, man, like what a platform for many years, starting off as a website and a platform for artists to you know, be able to tell their story and to feature songs, and all the way from the website days to now we're in the podcast and Instagram days where Root Fire is evolving to keep reaching people and getting the message that the artists are trying to get out. And sometimes we struggle with getting it out to the people. The platforms are abundant, and that can be a problem because there's so many avenues that people are lost in, you know. So hopefully people slow down on the scrolling and start connecting to stories like this, you know. Like that's what we need, is to just take a little moment to slow down and listen to each other, you know.
And we're able to tell you our story because you so gracefully asked. So thank you for asking as well and letting us spread what we're doing for you guys.
Thanks for making the
Yeah,
music
guys.
for us to share it. That's our goal. We want to get people listening to stuff maybe they haven't heard before, or maybe they haven't heard in the way we're hearing it.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, on my website, manoftheforests.com, it's plural, FORESTS, like I said earlier. But I have all my tunes I've ever released, vocal or violin, and I have a playlist on my Spotify that has every song that I've ever played on. So all the way from beginning to end, from Hotep to Ghost Train, you can find all those tunes on my website or on the playlist if you want to kind of dive deeper and read my story on my website. You know, it really means a lot to be able to share my story with the world.
That's a stacked playlist. And is that 45 available online to buy?
The 45 is about to launch. We have it.
It's about to launch online at Jativa.com.
Okay, because I'm gonna look out for that. That's absolutely happening.
Yes. Jativa, Jativa.com.
Yes, it'll be there.
Perfect, guys.
We're launching.
Got it.
Awesome. And please know in the
promote
future,
it.
if you have any other launches, you have any other things you guys want to you're coming out with, and you want to break down the stories or just like what the process was like of how things come together, you guys always have a platform here to come on, share some stories. We'd love to have you guys back and follow you guys through the rest of the chapters of this awesome journey that you're on. So thank you guys.
Yes, big love. The book is still being written, so keep reading.
That's right. You
Yes.
guys, thanks again. You guys take care and have a good night.
Yes,
Well,
much
thank
love and
you.
respect.
You too, my friend. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening to A Conversation in Dub, hosted by James Pasqua and Mark Ramondi. Conversation in Dub is brought to you by Root Fire, a platform for reggae music worldwide with a mission to empower artists and nurture the community that supports them. You're here because you love reggae music and want to be a part of that community? We're here to help you connect the dots.
This show is produced and edited by James Pasqua. Our theme music is an original composition called Keep Dubbin' by James Pasqua and Mark Ramondi. If you want to hear previous episodes containing full songs, you can find them all on Spotify. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at A Conversation in Dub. And if you have any feedback, requests, or just want to talk about music, reach out there or email us at aconversationindub@gmail.com. Make sure to rate us on your podcast platform of choice. And as always, keep dubbing.